just gotta stop.
Is that
If you
what
keep
5 minutes
working it
left
and
to
keep working it, yeah, if you keep working and keep working it, you're gonna pull these fibers off, and you're gonna have boogers like all over in big clumps.
Or you'll
Right.
tear it.
Or you'll tear it, yeah.
It'll pull right through.
So, so we're gonna do a patch with 5-minute mud, and we're gonna pretend, I'm gonna cut my pieces and patch, let's say,
Yeah.
this is our patch. Right, for over, I'm gonna do one identical size. There's my 2, and then those will actually, they'll kind of work. They'll work good enough. Now, you don't have to actually tape over tape in the corners. You can tape to tape, right? It doesn't have to be, and this is a big one, especially if you're working with paper. There is no additional benefit to this where they're overhanging. This is as good, all right? If you're doing this, then you just have to be really good, really good at drywall, because you've got twice the tape. Now, I actually do this a lot, where my tape is actually over the top of my other tape. And then I'll fan this out like, here for something this size. You're talking about like a 2-foot patch for something if you're gonna do this. If you don't have enough room and you don't want a big hump, this is actually acceptable, right? Because if you get any sort of separation and any sort of break, it would be where these 2 meet. So this is kind of like when you overlap them, it's kind of like it's kind of like over-engineering something. You can guarantee it's not going to crack if it does that, right? You can absolutely guarantee, but it's not necessary.
Right.
That is going to give you a 99.9%, and that's like good enough.
It's like wearing 2 condoms.
Yeah. Kinda. And then cleaning them out, turning them inside out, and using them in the other way.
There you go.
All right,
That's like
so.
saving money. You did what it was.
So,
Some of these were horrible.
I love using a sponge for stuff, because I also use it to put the water in, and I can use it to clean. A half sponge because it has a sharp edge, and for a little patch like this, if you hold your tray about at a 45, and you put enough water that it gets close to that edge, that's about enough for a patch, and that's a little more than, it's not quite a squeeze yet. So that's about all I need for this. So if you're gonna mix up mud and you're trying to figure out how to meter that, how much am I actually gonna use for a patch that big, just start, figure out how you can use your tray to measure that. This is an easy way to hold it right about at a 45, and then fill it up till it gets the edge. Anyone else do anything different to measure it?
I use buckets for both of mine. I powder in a bucket already and water in a bucket. So I just dip the edge of my pan in the bucket, pull it out. And then I knife in my.
You dip it in the water and you pull it out? Got it.
Same principle, just,
I like that.
and then I've got a deck brush in my water that I
Used to clean it up?
clean my trowels, clean my knives, clean my pan. And then if you do the bucket and water method, change your water out every so often, because otherwise you wind up with tadpoles and nice aroma that comes from the water if you don't change the water out, which does get in your mud.
The drywall mud, old
Also,
drywall
dirty
mud.
water will make it set, take off quicker too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and by the way, it's gotta be clean water. If you can't use, that's why I've got 2 things. One of them's for cleaning, and one of them's actually for adding the water. You cannot clean into something and then use that. Because what you'll do is you'll take your 5-minute mud and you'll turn it into 1.5-minute mud. fast. So we've only got a little bit, so we're gonna throw in yeah, this is a lot easier if it's in a bucket. And how do you know when you've gotten enough mud in there? So basically, when when you cover the surface, so you can still see water, but there's mud basically just covering the surface, and that is good. I actually probably have too much. And then just mix this in like a little circular motion, and I actually have too much water. And I can tell that's just gonna be soupy. I'm gonna add a little bit more.
Yeah. If you know you've got a problem with your road, fix it early.
I like to bring it down. Bring it down to the edge and then just mix it like a circle. Cleaning the sides and just kind of mixing it. You want a consistent texture. Your first go round doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. That's mixed. It's not coming out of the tray. And then you're just gonna take and you're just gonna apply it. So I can put my tape on. I like to take it off my corners. You can already see that that looks like it's already kind of firming up.
That's that 5 minutes for you.
5 minutes, yeah.
Now here's something cool. If this were paper tape, you see how there's no mud behind it right up there? That would be a massive issue. You get to start over if you do that. So all I have to do, I just hold it just a little and come out my corners.
Got to pull it tight.
Yep. You'll notice when I come over the other edge of the tape, I actually come, whoopsie, I come over my corner, diagonal. Your goal this first time around is to get the mud out from underneath the tape. See that up there? I've not got mud behind it. With paper, you've got to get this. You got to do that. There's your 5. Now, I've got enough and enough time, you can actually see the fuzzies. So just move those over to the other side.
Contamination.
You're not working with it. And you can see this is still really good to work with. Clean the backside off, by the way. That's really important because you'll drag stuff off from the backside of your knife into your mud. Is usually where it gets ugly and you just get a bunch of debris. And I like to go over my knife edge inside, and basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a platform, really low angle, right? I'm creating a platform. I take my edges off. So this section is actually taller, so that I can do my next pass out over the top of this. Right, so that's gonna guarantee that I can get that covered. Still working with 5-minute mud. And now I'm gonna do a coat over the top of this. Basically, right before this mud is no longer going to be used, which is just a little bit. So I can just wait for a little bit, and in that time probably clean up a little bit.
See that?
Don't rub that too much, cause that stuff can be, yeah, exactly. It's pretty prickly, man.
Oh yeah, the fiber.
It's pretty prickly, you'll.
It's fiberglass.
Yeah.
So here's something that's really fun with 5-minute mud.
Pretty much, I
Pretty
think.
much, yeah.
Same
Or a
thing, you create
version
your
of it.
little, create the little hot dog
The
in
big
there.
stores, maybe not like an Ace or Do It.
And then
Okay.
I started with my knife inside the paper area. I'm gonna do like half. I need to make sure that I'm going about half, which is, I'm using a 6-inch knife, so about 3 inches past my edges. And I'm just gonna lay it on thick. Like that. And then I'm actually just gonna work that off. Now I'm gonna come out like here. I'll do one across the middle. And then this is that flat part across the middle. You can see I'm low. So if I get my flat part across the middle, and I can see that it's flat, then I can actually work these edges. Now you can see that I'm like crazy high, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna do that same thing. I'm just gonna go across the middle again. I'm gonna bring the middle down. And that's how you can judge how much you have to take off, right? If you go across the middle. Remember, all of this is based on your knife teetering one way or the other, and you're basically creating a ridge. And you're basically just, you know, creating a ridge. If you put your mud on and it's out here, right? And then you put your mud on and it's here. You know, it's basically just a hump. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this as flat as possible and then just feather the edges out. As little as possible. That's a whole thing. So if you can establish your height in the middle and then come off the edge, that's all you really need to do. And still, right? 5-minute blood. I don't know how long it's been in there. Probably should have timed that. That would have been good. If
6
you,
minutes.
5 minutes under the ideal conditions of humidity, temperature, all that plays, yeah, water absorption into the.
I can see my tape just a little bit, right? So I probably need to bring this up. I need this flat part to be up a little bit. Alright, so I can barely see my tape edge there. And I just stuck my finger in. Alright, and I can see that mud just a little bit there. So now I'm gonna go around my edges. My mud's starting to get a little bit hard. I've got a flat, this is pretty flat. You can see it's indented a little. Can you guys see that? Can you see the inside edge of the tape?
No.
No? If you're up here, you can see it just, come up here and look at it. You can see it just a smidge, right here, 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 here.
When you get closer, you can see it.
Yeah, so, here's the thing with the mud. If you can see it when it's wet, you're probably gonna see it when it's dry, because it's gonna lose moisture, and it's gonna shrink just a little bit. So, I can see this, I actually pulled it down a little bit too much in the middle. I pulled a little bit too much off of it. So, I'm just gonna add to it.
You're doing all this on the second coat or the final coat, yeah?
No, I haven't done the final coat yet, no.
So this is still the initial coat?
Well, I'm in between, actually. Your first coat is technically putting the tape on.
It's just kind of light.
Yeah, that's your first coat. That gets your tape on. Or some people, they've got some different terminology for it, but to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, you're taping it. That's when you just put the mud down, you put the tape on. Bedding it is your first coat over the top of it, and then skimming is after that.
Yeah.
So if we just say, you're gonna put your tape on, because you have a knife and a tray in your hand, just for ease, that's your first coat, because you've got this in your hand.
Sure.
So you put that down, your tape's on, that's your first one. You go over the tape, that's your second one. So technically, I've just done my second one.
Yeah.
And then when you go over the top of that, that's your third one.
Third
And after
coat.
your third one, you can, if you're close enough, you can actually sand. And I'll show you something really cool about this mud, because of what's in it. It's actually hydrophobic, meaning that once you introduce water into it, it'll actually cause it to harden up. It'll push the water out if you put more water into it, because it'll wanna set up underwater. It won't actually draw it in. Like a sponge is going to accept water. Mud will set up underwater, right? So we're really close. So now I'm just gonna go make sure my mud is still good. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm cleaning off the edges. So my edges are good to work with. If I've got any boogers or trash on the edge like that. And you're getting ready to put up something that you think and hope that you're gonna be able to sand, just get any of the boogers off the edge.
I use the back side of my pan where the furthest point away, no, right there, yep. So that's where I use one
Yeah.
corner of my pan constantly, and then in between coats, I knock that off and put it, I have a discard pile generally
Yeah.
too, where I've burned through the mud, it's starting to harden up and I have to get rid of it. That's where that all goes. At the end of the day, I pick that up and throw it away.
Yeah, I was about to say, sometimes that extra little boogers or contamination, I don't even put it onto the thing, just take it, scrape it into my, little trash bag or whatever I got, and that way it's not even an option.
I can't contaminate it.
Yeah.
What about a flat pan? Does anybody use a flat pan?
A hawk?
A hawk.
Yeah, I've got a couple hawks. I can show you how to use a hawk if you're more comfortable with that.
I don't know if I'm more comfortable, I just wondered, cause I've seen them on TV, or whatever videos.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
That's more plaster.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
what we wanna do now, since we're gonna go over this and hopefully I'm gonna take that booger off. We're gonna go over that, and we're hopefully gonna get this in this next pass, is this is where you start working, the air out. So these air bubbles, so you wanna take and
Press it.
yeah, press it in and just kinda knead that out. This is how you avoid air bubbles.
Make it like soft serve ice cream.
Yep. Also, if you see any debris, now's the time to get rid of it. And then, I would say about a ½ inch round, right,
Yeah.
on the end.
Okay.
Also, you work this out so that, oopsie, that's a bit more. You work this out so that it is about the size of your knife, so you can easily get it and hit it. And then because it's all packed up here on the end, you have to start with a low angle outside. Now we want to make sure our knife is fully one knife blade outside. So this was half, and now our top is going to be one full outside that perimeter. Basically, we're gonna ride the top of that lip that we created.
Make that incline
Ping pong.
as low as possible. Yeah.
Yep. Ping pong, this is how you hold a ping pong paddle,
Mhm.
some guys, yeah. Very, very similar to that, and I'm gonna control this just by pushing on either side. I'm gonna lay it down. Get my mud. I almost do not have enough. I'm gonna take some off here. Gotta borrow some more from right on top, and then that one's a little light. So now I'm just gonna work this. Grab off the other side. If I built my middle up where it actually should be, all I have to do is hit the edges and just work this out. I know that this is higher than my tape. Technically right now it's a little bit lower, but I know that it's higher than my tape. And so I can just actually work the edges and be ready to sand this in no time. Any draggers, any travelers, anything like that, you gotta get those off. And now this is just a matter of taking these edges and getting these a little bit better.
How do you keep from getting the knife marks in your, mud when you're doing that?
It's all just this.
Just the
And it's all angled too. This is a steel blade, right? There are two types of blades that you can get on knives. Stainless steel and then just regular steel. This is a regular steel. Regular steel is gonna be stiffer. Stainless steel is gonna be really flexible. Sometimes when you're doing finished stuff, it's nice to have flexible. It's a little more forgiving when you're doing finishing stuff, a little bit more, and they don't rust. But you know, I like the metal, and I just like to change my angle. So you'll see, I'm right up, like right on the neck, and my fingers are here. So I mean, there's not much of a handle I would need on this thing, you know, for me to use it, because I'm really low angle.
A lot of it's steel, I mean, just years and years and years of doing it, or months of, you know,
You don't think that the
You'll
blue
learn.
steel is more flexible than the stainless steel?
He's doing a real good job of articulating some of the finer points
Depends.
in doing it, where, like you said, like if you just do it and keep doing it, then it's more like a muscle memory and the feel and stuff like that. So like seeing and hearing him articulate the steps,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that is what we do.
Right.
So check this
how
out.
we're doing it, but
Yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
So I
Right,
have
our mud is
Yeah.
That's like set up. Once it sets up in the pan, you can do something really magical with this mud. Now, I gotta get this, this middle part's just kind of ugly, so I'm just gonna get my, this is where, when I say it's hydrophobic, this is what I mean. So when I put water on this, it's gonna push in and then it's gonna pop out on the surface. So even just wiping that off. And I'm gonna come in, now that I did this, I'm gonna come like halfway in, and I'm gonna work that edge in. See, I got some of it, and I can actually, I don't know if you do this or not. I'm just adding water to it, and then I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna make a slurry, just a little bit. That little bit, and that's like super premium good mud. That's the good stuff. I'm gonna add a little more water. And it went from being hard and barely able to work with to being pliable just for a short period of time. I'm gonna take that, I can use that to fill in.
Give it,
Yep.
Kevin, just about it.
switch to an 8.
Depends what I'm doing.
Like
But,
that first thing you hit with the 6, and then like I'll get the trigger when you're doing
Yeah.
You can do everything with a 6-inch.
I can do everything with a
He
6-inch.
skimmed the whole wall out with a 6-inch.
It's not about the size, man. It's how you use it, bro.
It's actually 4, but you know.
I hold mine with 2 fingers.
I like a big knife sometimes. I do it opposite of him. I usually work my outside edge and then have the depression and then use my bigger
You
knives.
kind of
And just breathe it, yeah.
Yeah, because like it's the same thing. I know exactly what you.
But then I do the opposite. Instead of the
So
low
now-
profile, I need to stand mine up a little bit
It
more
depends
to
on the
make
repair.
sure that it doesn't flex. and
So now
stick
check this
what
out,
I'm
guys,
trying to put
right?
in.
It depends on the repair that
Even
you
though,
Yeah.
even though this is like, even though this is still it's still kind of wet, I can, you know, feel it. I'm gonna add just a little more water and I'm gonna skim it just a little bit more. So how much sanding is this gonna take for this to be, you know, to be, it's like really super minimal. Actually, you have a sponge. If you're really fucking good, which I'm not, if you're really good, you can do this and you have, the only sanding that you'll have to have if you do choose to use a sponge is you'll have to sand to get the texture consistent with what's around it, because it's been sanded. You know, so your patch will be a different texture if you sand with a sponge, because everything else around it has lines and it has scrapes in it and stuff. So it's still, you know, it's still just a little bit, you know, I can get a little transferring. So it's just about ready to sand. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add more water. And by adding more water, it's actually gonna bring the water out. So I'm gonna, basically what I'm doing is, I'm just flattening it more and more and more and more and using the water as a lubricant. That's it. So that time I added a good bit. And now, that's it, that's all I got off it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, check it out. That is a,
I think I
come up
like
here and look at it.
squeegeeing a window.
Yeah, I'm about to take no.
It looks good, it looks real good, for sure.
Yeah, we can actually see how much I built up on it. Take a straight edge
Yeah.
and then put it on there and let's see how much it built up. But what's really awesome about this is I am probably 10 minutes away from this being totally done. That's $350.
I'm sorry, I came from apartments.
Yeah.
But the normal person, like the beginner, wouldn't be able to use 5-minute mud like that, per
Well,
se.
you saw how I used it, right?
Yeah.
So anytime, and I'll do this for you, anytime that you wanna come in and meet me, cause I dropped my daughter off at the butt crack of dawn at her school, you wanna come in and you want this lesson over and over and over again, until you do it, then yeah, just let me know.
You practice at your house, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Here's
Take
If
a
you
hammer,
can do it with the,
wham.
if you can do it with the 5-minute mud like he's showing you, you can do it with any mud. If you can
Yeah.
only do it with 45-minute mud, that's all you're ever gonna be able to work with. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just not gonna
You
be
just have to-
comfortable with it.
but the thing is, if you, on the flip side of that, if you can't do it with 5-minute mud and you try to do it, what the problem is that you put too much on. And then you have a mound, and then you're
Mhm.
working off a mound and it makes it so incredibly hard.
That's typical
Right.
problem.
That key is to get your tabletop, to get this tabletop. That's the thing you gotta do.
What's
that
the
you gotta
tabletop,
do.
the part that's around in the middle of the?
Yeah, so your tabletop is, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Alright, so this is your patch. So it's to get
The middle.
this part, sometimes it's a little bit bigger than my knife. So I need to go from tape to tape, cover tape to tape, and have a raised spot that I can feather an edge off of.
Okay.
If you don't get this raised up enough, what happens is that's when you're adding mud and you still see tape. Your second coat, you still see tape. Your third coat, you're like, fuck this shit. I can't, like, why am I still seeing tape? Then you sand it and you sand tape. And you're like, okay, this is some bullshit. you have to get that part raised up just a little bit. So those couple of times that I went across it, to get that, you know, I said, okay, it's a little low. And I said, come up here and look at it, cause I can actually see the tape edge, right? And you couldn't see it from there. I can see it cause it's still wet, and I can actually still see the perimeter, and you can see it now. Right
Mainly
here.
'cause, like, you know where it is.
I know where it is, yeah, cause I put it up there, I know where it is, and it's just a little low.
Yeah.
And so that you basically, your biggest thing is just establishing that top. The top, just the thinnest amount above your tape. If you get that the first time, you get that on technically your second coat, put the tape in, you get that on your second coat, you don't have to add any more to that. That's the thing, you don't have to do any more to it.
You don't wanna overwork the
Yeah.
mud and stuff, sometimes.
You don't wanna keep adding to
playing
it.
with it will mess it up.
How long do you have to wait before you sand it?
I am. So I did a pretty good job, this is called ghosting the edge, right, with my knife. So a sponge would be too aggressive on this at the moment, but you can, someone have a sponge? Sanding sponge?
No, I don't
Do you have a sponge, sanding sponge?
Yeah.
Grab that real quick.
The problem is
I got it.
it gets hard, but there's water still in that.
Yeah.
So if you start sanding that with the water in it, even though it's hard,
It'll
it'll
come
break it down, and he could actually, as long as there's water in that, he could take that knife and skim it a little bit, and then he'll
Yeah.
have mud on his knife again that'll be wet that he could reapply.
Right,
Now, I can
right.
feel it, you can actually feel, go ahead and rub that, you can feel it.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we're great seeing y'all and stuff. I will see y'all here in a couple days. I gotta
What are you feeling for the damage?
I feel the
No,
damage,
I'll
but
give
you
you a
know,
call
the-
later
you
on
can,
and stuff,
you can
here,
feel the
because
patch, feel the patch.
I was looking at the jobs that we got going on and stuff, like doing this outside.
So sometimes
Okay,
it's,
which one do you
it's
happen to know
easier,
just off the top of your
right?
head?
It's,
If I've got a
it's
little
Wednesday.
indent right here,
and
like
it's
I can
the-
feel this,
It's like a window
instead
well.
of trying to
Okay,
sand that out, I
everything
just
else
go
on
back
that
to my
job you got
5-minute
though?
mud.
Just not the window
And then
well?
just,
Yeah,
I would
kinda
sand my edges and
Okay, that's
everything,
fine,
get it
so,
nice and
so
smooth.
the, but the rest.
And then just
the
have
rest-
that 5-minute just nice
Got it.
middle spot,
Alright.
right here, and then just get all the little imperfections. Do the same thing right before where it's dry to the touch but barely transferring to the hands, add more water to it, and then just take your knife and skim it over. And you'll just create a flat patch.
The ghosting is the, thinning out of as you kind of work out, is that what that is?
That is coming out and a lot of pressure here and just dragging that edge out so that it's,
Blended in.
yeah.
Feathering,
Yeah.
ghosting.
Yep, so you don't have to sand to create that edge.
Okay.
If you don't have that edge and you have to sand to create it, then you've got
Sanding.
it's a lot of sanding, yeah, it's a lot of sanding. So
And you risk furring up the paper if you oversand.
So that is a little too wet to sand right now. See it, I just drug, into it. So I'd give that about 15 minutes and then it can be sanded. So that whole repair can be done in, I don't know, how long did it
An
take?
hour.
An hour.
I mean, if you.
Sanded, finished everything.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Start, ring the bell, walk up, introduce yourself, put your tarps down, get your stuff set up. 45 minutes of working on that, sanding it. An hour and a half, you should be out the door on,
A normal size patch.
on, it's like what he's doing right there. Yeah, I mean, you should be done in an hour and a half and feeling good about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about a seam, same thing?
A seam, yeah. If you can do it in 5 minutes, yeah. And that's the key to like 5-minute mud over 20-minute mud. And the only difference between the 20-minute mud and the 5-minute mud is the amount of calcium that they put in it. That's it, calcium just makes it fire off. So the 5-minute has more than the 20-minute. Same thing, just a little bit more,
20 minutes would just take, this process would be just a little longer.
be a little bit longer. Yeah, if
And if you've got, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you wanna do it in 20 minutes, cause you're more comfortable, do it in 20. Then when you get in 20, just drop down to 5. 45 minutes, just really not, maybe, it's just not.
It's just not
Yeah,
the right.
just
right
20
place.
minutes,
And
you
even
can
though
start with 20.
You were able to work that for probably 20-25 minutes.
Yes,
But
Yeah.
in theory, the 5 minutes is supposed to be the work time.
5 minutes is the approximate work time. And I was able to work it longer. I was also adding water to it.
Mm-hmm, to keep it
Yeah.
from firing off.
And if you mix
That's
it too
dangerous to
much,
do that.
If you mix it, you can mix
Oh,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
straight for about 10 minutes and it'll set up because you're mixing it. Yeah,
So don't over-
Adding water after you've already mixed it is dangerous
Yeah.
because you could get a double, something's half set, you're adding to it and it can clump
Yeah.
it up.
yeah, so,
And especially don't ever add more powder and try, like if you've got something and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
mixed
yeah,
up
you
for
can't-
5 minutes, don't try to
yeah, don't
wet
try
it
to
up by putting
reconstitute
more
it.
and adding water, 'cause then you'll definitely get clumps.
And with
That's
Separate.
not what he's doing, he is not reconstituting.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
putting water in my tray, I'm putting it on my
Water,
work, and I'm creating another like skin, and then that, whatever ends up in my tray is different than what was originally in my tray.
So you don't mix it in with the, did you,
No,
I didn't see if you remixed it or not.
nope, nope,
Yeah,
didn't
really
remix it. Yeah, and
Another
that's
little-
also the key to using like mixing the perfect amount of mud for a patch. So, I had not quite 45 with the water from here to here, and then I threw the mud in it, so that much left, that much scrap, and did a patch this size. So you can just use that to, water,
That's
water
how
to
much-
about this point.
That's about how much you need for I call that like a normal size patch.
Yeah, normal size patch. That's the teenage girl, that's the angry teenage girl. That's what that is.
Anything about that.
Slam the door, I hate my life. Parents suck, right? That's the doorknob through the wall. That is the broomstick through the ceiling, actually with a fist through the ceiling. That's a really angry teenage girl. That's just your like normal size patch. It's slightly bigger when you have plumbers and stuff like that to come in and cut a hole to find a leak. It's going to be a little bit bigger. If it's
The
you know,
principle though, what
twice
we're
that
teaching,
size.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The only difference is when you have a bigger hole, when you've got a bigger hole, right?
Yep.
You take almost about the same amount of mud if you're like super efficient. But then what you're doing when you're creating that tabletop, you're creating this edge, and you're creating this edge, and you're creating this edge, and then there's a low spot. Let that set up a little bit, and then come across it.
Yep.
And see if you're dragging the ends, and just add it till you're not dragging the ends. If you're leaving it a little high, that's totally fine. Let that set up a little bit. So you're just creating that top. That's the hardest part, is creating the top. Then you go around the outside. That's your half on. Let that set up just a little bit, and then go around the perimeter. And then once you do that, you can take and start adding your water. And then you can come in just about any direction. Ghost your edge, real low angle, and bring it off.
Real low to where the handle's almost touching the
Almost
drywall.
touching, yeah. Yeah, you saw that, right?
See, I always have my hand around where you
Handle.
yeah, so that.
Yeah,
you
I don't
can't
think
get
I
that
ever-
low.
I don't think I ever did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever do that. No.
That's like the
Ever, I don't
baseball
think.
grip when you're playing golf.
Well, that's,
You know,
but I
you
mean,
gotta-
that's what when you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Nobody
ping pong, more like a ping pong paddle.
Tell them about the wave and the knife too, I mean, there's that too, when you
Yeah.
start.
That's why I like the little knives, because with the big knives, they're woo.
There's a
They
way.
got buoys,
After
whiskey
you-
dents in
After
it.
you've used them for so long.
That's when a
you know
knife
what
is
he's
broken, it
saying,
has a
you're
W.
Pulling down edges.
It's got a diddly- no,
Your
it
10
does
inch
a
knife or
little-
12-inch knife will start to smile at
But,
you.
okay.
Then you have to know which side to use,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
that I'm not dragging the curled edge sticking out so far through my mud. Oh, what?
See, I would have never done that too, so that's part of the reason why I get that.
It could be. Yeah.
Those lines in the mud,
Yep.
When I buy a new set of knives, I struggle because they're not broke in.
Yeah, well, I
And
do that
I
too.
don't get the results until I use them for about 2 or 3
And,
weeks.
and I have certain knives, but I use a 4, 6, 8, 10, I have a couple of 12, I just don't use them very often for.
So you protect them when you're not using them too, don't let them get bent up or.
I try to, yeah, all of my knives, if you notice when I walk into a job, when I do things a little different, I have 2 buckets, water, mud, and then I have my pans. And I'll carry my pans with all my knives in, I take all my knives in at once, I take my mud and my powder in, my water and my powder in, that's my entry. Hey, Mr. So-and-so, I'm here to do your patch.
Okay.
You know, and then it's all there at my feet like it is for him when he's doing.
How do
I
you
have a
store
big
your
sheet
knives
of
when you're not using them then?
upright in my pan.
Okay.
That's
Don't
all
put the
mine are.
blades, you put the blades in, the rust.
They have to be dry when you store
Yeah.
them.
So you could put a rag in the bottom and stick this in?
Yes.
Something like that?
Or else you end up sanding that little thin edge of rust off your knife before you use it, because
Yes,
you'll drag
you do,
it.
'cause
You'll drag it in the mud and you'll leave an orange or a brown trail behind you,
Okay.
which
That's
is
a
great to try and get rid of when you're.
And that's a big deal when you gotta paint it and such it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then clean out.
So you
But-
don't want any rust on your blades, none.
Over
No,
the
not
30
on
years,
the
that, you know, if we don't do it perfect every time,
Yeah.
you know, you get tired, you throw them in there, you get, oh crap, I rusted my knife, I gotta fix it and treat it right.
Then what do you do to sand that, like 220 or something grit, or how do you do that?
Yeah.
I do,
220.
yeah. And then I oil them, if they rust, I'll spray them down with WD-40, wipe them off, let them air dry, and then wipe them down with paper towel again, so that a
Now,
little bit
I'm-
of protection.
I'm kind of lazy, so
I'm not saying I'm the best at it, I'm super.
that's it for me.
That's it.
That's
I've
I
been
take
getting
6
lazy.
knives and once Kevin takes 2.
I take 2. It's gonna be a
Sometimes I'll
6,
just
it's gonna be a
take
1.
one.
Yeah.
What's
Lay it
that
on the
one
tailgate,
for?
take my
What's that?
1 inch
Just
and
mixer.
just clean.
Okay.
That's your little mixer?
Half inch off.
That's to get your crap-
Figured, hey,
And
you
see,
know,
I use
stuff
a
for about
4-1.
5 minutes and all
That's
that
just the
dry
way I was
rot's gonna
taught.
be left, and then I can
I don't
scrape
know.
it.
I'm not-
So you can do, I mean, you can use whatever you wanna use, but you can do
Everything you're
Yeah.
doing with, yeah.
everything you're doing, and you can do it quickly and really well.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. Patch like that should be good for all of our clients.
And the 5 minutes
Fast.
is really good for backfilling if you've got, you know,
Yeah.
stuff that needs backfilled before you're putting your coats on.
It'll turn
Yeah.
drywall into like one of your favorite things to do, cause if you can do what I just did,
You can make a lot of money out of it.
it is, yeah. Now you're looking at a drywall patch and you're like, it's 1 hour, and that's an easy 1 hour too. Yep,
But
very
he-
little mess.
But he gave you 3.
Yeah, but I gave you 3. I
Right,
gave you 3,
right.
and you can indeed do it in 1. Yeah, and that's cleaned up and everything, like back up to the,
Here's the thing though, guys, I've been doing this a long time, and I can't do what he just did. I can't do it all in one step.
So-
That's reality of it.
Now, I can try,
That's what I want.
but then I know I gotta sand it, and
That's-
I know if I fail, I'm gonna bust my butt sanding, and I'm gonna be, yeah, it's gonna ruin the rest of my day.
So, I unfortunately don't know another way exactly to Shay, I just do that.
I watched him, this is when I realized that he's always asking me for drywall advice, and we had a bathroom vanity in the ceiling that was a little bit low. But what was gonna go up there that we had to straighten that
Some
out?
sort of crown or something.
Crown or something, that's right. And he comes out with his little 1 inch knife. And he worked 5-minute mud for like 30